1-8. Meat's extra fat? Never. They leave on just enough to make it cook to perfection, not an ounce more. You get full value for every penny you spend and the best eating ever. Be fussy. Shop fine at supermarkets. This is WOR 710 Radio New York, your station for news as it happens.
Okay, gang, the time has come. That vast horde of mankind, anonymous, sitting out there in the great Stygian darkness, has at long last got its chance to shine briefly in the electronic sun. And last year, as you know, we did, it was just about this time of the year, actually, we did the vast marching horde of mankind show, in which, you know what's the matter, really, everything cool in there now? The vast marching horde of mankind show, in which we've spotted over the time that we've been around that the one great urge everybody has in this day and age is to have his name mentioned somewhere. Have you noticed when the camera swings out there over the Steve Allen audience, what do? That's right, vast waving of arms. And practically hardly a day goes by before we don't get 7,922 letters that say at the bottom, please mention my name on Friday. We don't mention names. We're not in the name. We don't, you know. It's just not our scene. And so tonight, are you ready? We have a gigantic stack of mail. And these people are out there in the darkness. I will make no editorial comment about them. They're just there. And if you can imagine them marching past in this great ragtag mob bearing banners that read Excelsior, would you please bring me some Mankind is Marching Past music, Herb? One guy's already flubbed it out. The first card I pick up, he says, please mention my name Friday. And I clearly said Thursday. Yeah, there are people who miss every brass ring that comes their way. And here they come, that vast herd. That's it. Make it big, Herb. And now we open up with a letter that says, let's make it 2 in a row. Last year, you broke all the rules of society. when you read my name first on the vast parade of marching mankind. My name is never read first on any list. And let us make it 2 years in a row, breaking all records. And so there he comes, heading all the rest. Victor Zanano, spelled with a Z. Bob Bogert, Hawthorne, New Jersey. Pete Quinn, Steve Petch, Richard Orlup, Ken Cuneen, Steve Russell Small of Hempstead, Walter Schretzman, yes, Walter himself, Mitchell Tyson, leaps high out of the crowd, Nancy Ligori, David Bloom, and John Ligori. That's it. And now a little of that razzmatazz Tiger Rag. To get, yeah, she hasn't got it? Well, then get me any Dixieland. It'll be working okay. Big Harv and Andy. Mention him. He says, don't mention my name. It's too late. It's in the middle of the crowd. And here we have Robert Bloom. And here is Charlie Bird, Barbara Goldsmith, Roxanne Bagels, Ward Jesse Struthers, Albert E. Smith, 3. He says, you're right, I am pretentious, among other things. Thomas Wagner, Walter Cunning, Bill Mikite, Nancy Stock, Matt Salzberg of Whitmere, Long Island. I want proof of my existence. Give recognition to... And then she doesn't sign her name. I presume it's a girl, because all the letters are with little circles over the eyes, you know. Hans Minich. Fred Zankowski. Gregory Stover. Bob Guerrella. Marguerite Brennan. Peter and Violet Agostino. And the cat. Dave Burler, Harry Fendley Littlejohn, Jr. There's a name to conjure with. Barry Aquilino, Frodo Baggins, of course. There's always somebody has to write in something like Ebenezer Scrooge. Funny thing. I just threw that in to make him think he fooled me, see. I didn't know who Frodo Baggins was. Annabelle Stanton, Helen Connolly, Warren Kant, Jr. of New Providence, New Jersey. He says, I attend under duress Union College. And Harold Baird of Trumbull, Connecticut. Howard Gindoff. He says, please say my name, please. I live in Lakewood, New Jersey. And there's a note of hysteria about this little letter there. Lois White and Linda Bohm, or is it Bain? And they live in, it looks like Parlin, New Jersey. And here's a guy in Brooklyn, Jeffrey Poznansky. Look it up there big. Watch me there. Mary Teichman. And Carl Clyde, WB2EYC. Dan Richter, president of the local Promotion of Gene Shepherd Club. Oh, that's ridiculous. He's trying to get... Jim Richter, former future Detroit Tiger. And Andrea Shea. Harvey Garrett, Deborah Garrett. Garrett, I guess they pronounce it. Mr. Joseph Slomka. Larry Rubin. He says, you're a fathead. Yeah, you should talk. Kenny Kosman and Tinia Kosman. John R. Layer. Oh, yeah? Well, I'm not the only slob in the crowd, friend. Richard F. Cousins wants to be included in the great crowd. Here's Tony Brucia and Tom Pryor. Oh, what a great mob marching by. Mrs. J. McKeon. Justine Kurazinko. And here's from Lehigh Valley. Just says mention Lehigh Valley. Chauvinism is the worst sin of all. Tom H. Culligan. Oliver Conant. He says, my name. This kid likes to imagine he's a communist. I bet he understands all the Marxist theories of economics. Here is Carl Niederer. Let's see. Tom Malonis from Riverdale, New Jersey. He says, I'm even embarrassed to hear my name sometimes right out loud. Robert Levi. He says, I dare you to mention my name. There you go, you think. It's mentioned. South Waterford, Maine. Holy smokes, South Waterford, Maine. Francis Mary LaChaussee and Robert H. LaChaussee of South Waterford, Maine. That's a roaring town. I've been in South Waterford. Jerry Kimisi. Jack Eschenbach of Riverdale Senior High School. Oh, poor Jack. It's not easy. And there goes Ben Freed on the banjo. And Brian D. McGuire. You just sneak that in any time. That's Jenkintown, PA. Harold Rosen. Jeez, and the fantastic crowd marching by. Look at it. The light is shining on their heads out there. Look at the banners waving, flags. Look at the balloons flying out there. Here's Private J. McCormack. It's amazing what fantastically bad handwriting many people have. Jimmy Oakham. It is, really. And I am no exception. J. Tracy. And look at this. Greetings from the Garden State. And there's a beautiful selection of pictures of various overpasses on the New Jersey Turnpike, all of which, of course, are works of art. And this guy's name is Farkas, it looks like. Yeah, Fazakis. Arpad Fazakis. Sounds like a Greek name. Gary Weaver. Ricky Van Buren. Dave Van Buren of Pelham. Stella Nowalewski. Helen, she says, have fun. She says, remember, I've had this name to battle with for 19 years. Helen Wajnus. A lot of Z's and J's and all kinds of little whistles in there. Mrs. Eleanor Waterhouse Larson. And she underlines Waterhouse. There must be a lot of troubles in that house. Ridgewood, New Jersey. People say a lot more about themselves. Edward Paul Francis Oriani. And he encloses a stamp. He says, included as a bribe. Anytime I'd sell out for a 6-cent stamp, kid. Chicky and Eric Lyseroff. He says, no commercials. That reminds me, we got commercials. Hit the beer commercials. Yeah, friends. If you're in that vast crowd of mankind marching towards who knows what, and you get a little thirsty and your tongue hangs out, and you'd like to have a great big schooner of real rich, ripe, unbelievably fantastic brew, well, we would like to recommend, of course, there's only one brew that fits all of those majestic, fantastic adjectives. And what is it? Yeah, everybody in the crowd that is living right. Miller High Life. Miller High Life. Yeah, the beer that keeps mankind marching on that yellow brick road. Miller High Life. Yes, sir. The champagne of bottled beer. You can get it in cans or bottles. And if you want to move up to the trough right, do it with Miller. Jeff Benko. This is WOR, New York.
Any kind of battery you can use, you can choose in the powerhouse. The ever-ready powerhouse, where the power comes from.
When man first steps on the moon, he'll carry a special breed of batteries, alkaline batteries, a long-life power source designed for space-age use, like today's ever-ready Golden Energizer. They far outlast ordinary batteries in heavy duty. In radios, ever-ready Golden Energizers last up to 3 times longer. In cameras and flashlights, they last up to 7 times longer. And in toys, ever-ready golden energizers actually last up to 10 times longer. So for batteries that last longer, come to the people who've been making them longer. Get golden alkaline energizers from the ever-ready powerhouse, where the power comes from. Home of 1,000 different types of batteries. Ever ready. Would you want a battery that's not?
Oh, boy, I certainly wouldn't want a battery that wasn't ready, man. And the golden ones are made by Union Carbide. You have another one in there? Hit them.
Teach your sales of fish, fulfill your fondest wish. To say the least, makes any meal a feast. So try the can or jar that makes your tongue a star. The perfect dish, Roteach gefilte fish. Time goes by and people change. How can it be denied? We forget so many good old ways. But Roteach still offers us with tender, loving pride the filter fish that tastes like good old days. Roteach.
Good old days with Roteach started 99 years ago. And today, Roteach makes 66 OU-endorsed products, including fish, borscht, soups, cleaning aids, a host of delightful Passover items. For a happy Passover, buy Roteach.
So try the can or jar, the perfect dish, Roteach gefilte fish.
Bump, bump. That's pretty good. That's a very, very... No, I might point out to you that that we're reading these as they came in. I mean, you know. So if your name is not read, it came in too late. We just have enough. You know, that's the ultimate anonymity. To be lost in an anonymous crowd, or even among the anonymous, you're anonymous. And speaking of anonymity, friends, we have a couple of other commercials. We did Miller, Roteach, and how about Great Shanghai, huh? Yes, sir, Great Shanghai. If you're looking for a fantastic Chinese restaurant this Sunday, you know, you're walking around, it's springtime, you're going to come into New York, and you'd like to really do something great. Well, I would like to recommend the great brunch they have at the Great Shanghai. From 11 o'clock until 3 every Saturday, or rather Sunday, every Sunday from 11 till 3, they have a brunch. And you come in there and it's like, served up kind of like a cafeteria style. You can eat as much as you want for $2.50. You can make a real unbelievable Chinese piggy or something. You just walk around and you'll sweat sweet and sour. It's just fantastic. And this is the Great Shanghai, and they're at 103rd and Broadway. And any children of 4 feet tall are half price. 4 feet tall, and I guess shorter. That's half price, $2.50, and it's from 11 until 3. And the food is great. The Great Shanghai at 103rd and Broadway. The IRT comes right up next to the dishwashing machine. You can't miss it. Now, let's see. We've done that. Great Shanghai, Roteach. We have one more, don't we? Hair Jamaica? Yeah. How about it? I'm using...
My name is Felicia Andrews. My home is in Waiterbit in the parish of Trelawney. I'm Alice Melba from Harry Watch. Hello, I'm Rose DeLissa. I live just outside Giddy Horn.
Air Jamaica stewardesses are the most beautiful girls in all of Jamaica. And when they fly, they're so graceful and so pretty. We call them our rare tropical birds.
My name is John Weaver. I'm from Montreal. Beirut, London, Paris, Johannesburg. That's the way it is when you've flown as long as I have.
Air Jamaica captains are an elite corps. Every pilot wants to fly a route like the Jamaica Run, so we get to pick the crop. And we give them big, new, powerful jets to fly. Air Jamaica. It's a little bit of Jamaica in a whole lot of planes.
Service subject to government approval.
Air Jamaica. Yeah. All right, come on. Let's hear a little cheap guitar music to accompany mankind. Yeah. Don't forget Miller of East 18th Street in Brooklyn, New York. And he says, enigmatically, don't try to account for anything. John D. Angelus of Elmont, New York. Sammy Forsythe of Clinton Road, Brooklyn. Alan F. Leicester of Asbury Park. He's out there. Noel Girardi of Elmont. This is Elmont, New York night. The Eternal Beat, John Petarisi, L. Singer. And I might point out that anybody who wrote 722 names on a card only gets one read. So you probably booted it yourself. Your worst enemy gets read, and you don't. Randy Veit, Robert Anker, and what's this? How did this bill get in here? Here's one from Ricky Noman. They're out there. Andrew Skiba, and he gives you 5 different ways to pronounce it. One of them is obscene. And here is Hank Bimbo Bischoff. Mike Kern, poor Mike. It says, we are the poor, sad listeners of Clifton, New Jersey. Thomas Rose, Alan Rose, Robert and Carol Rose. Clifton, what a sad town. Richard Weltman, Mark Mormon, Armando Samuel, of it looks like Manhattan. Fred Zankowski. He says, I too have a name beginning with Z, so you won't read my name. He just throws it in. You can tell people whose names at the end of the alphabet, their letters and cards all sort of run downhill. Depressed. Joe Bennett. His name starts with B, so he writes it real big. Lori Bennett. Jimmy Stock of Flushing. And half of these I can't even read. I'm sorry. You know, people, no wonder they're anonymous. Their letters are totally impossible to read, little squiggles and stuff. Here's Raymond E. Harley. Raymond E. Harley. He says, I'm a nice Catholic kid. You should be able to at least read my name once. Here's Robert. What's his religion got to do with it? Here's Robert Lanio of Bloomfield, New Jersey. And here's one just said, my name is Kathy Beardsley. John Byland, Esquire. He said, I heard you on Long John showing had a rotten time getting up in the morning after that. So did I. Here's one, Julia Falke, age 10. Falk, age 10. And here's her brother, Charles Falk, age 10. Please mention my pet lion, Apricot. Stephen Rosenthal and Stanley Felstein of Virginia. I don't believe it. Here's a guy who signs simply, it can't be. Elmer Judgeworth III. He said, I'm not kidding. Elmer Judgeworth III. He says, give me a break and mention it. What a name I got. Tom Jers. And let's see. Here's another repeat. See, we just throw the repeats out. We can tell them right away. Here's Phil Hoffman of Manhattan, age 16. Here's Rick Civil and Mr. Clark. Mr. Clark is. These are all repeatees. Here's Pat Kern, who says Fat Al is alive. Well, that's a question that's been debated many times in Brooklyn, and there's a lot of thoughts on the other side, kid. Michael Pearson of Mount Vernon says, when's your new book coming out? Well, it's coming out next year. Guy Russo of Mount Vernon. He has P.S. I fly, too. Yeah, I can tell by the way you write, but you ain't flying the way I fly, friend. I fly an airplane. Here's one, Stuart Felshoe. Rosemary Kavanaugh. Dave Zimmerman. Oh, poor Dave. Larry Rockman. Here's poor old John Baxter. Poor old Steve Delmar. Mike Hotanis. Richard Civil and Steve Sims. Gwen Civil. Richard Barnett. Stephen Cover. Brian Gilbert. He says, don't laugh, it's all I got. Brian. At Richie Swiderski. Chris Bookman. Cindy Bach. Debbie Wells. Gary McGinty. Billy Wells. Lois Malakowski and Ron McKenzie are out there. Michael Sternick. I'm 11 years old. I wrote Flick Lives in our school and I got kicked out for a week. Eugene Costello. They're all in there fighting. Barbara Jones Sennon. Isn't it exciting, your name being mentioned on the air? You're official now. It came out of the loudspeaker, just like, real stuff, like news and all that. Charles Buchholz. That's a terrible thing to say about that Dumpelstiltskin. You remember Dumpelstiltskin from the fairy stories? Tom Adams, Drew Brady, not to mention, Joe Zaraf and Eddie Titus. These are all repeats. And Lisa Kingsley says hi. Okay, it's all right, Lisa, it's okay. Addie Ventries Wells of Wilmington, Delaware. And here is Ted Liss. That name's familiar. Ted Liss. Maybe that's just the name of most losers I've known. Jeff Benko. That's a good name. David Huber. And here's Anthony J. Caridi. Phyllis Dolby Yost. My name is Joe McBride. I live in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. We salute you. David Gonzalez and Jerry Burnett. And that guy's in Danella. No wonder he writes big. Linda Miller. Please mention my name. You didn't mention it the last time, and I wrote 422 cards. Maybe that's why we didn't mention it, baby. And Warren Petco of Madison, New Jersey. We were just out in Madison, New Jersey. It was wild. Chuck S. and Cindy G. love you and love each other. Aww. In spite of living in Jamaica, New York. And here is Norman H. Dreschel. And he's a ham, I think, W83KEY. And here is John Lash LaRue. He signs like John Hancock, a big thing. What a beautiful stamp. Chuck Stokes and his uncle Alphonse say hi. And they sent me an Ecuadorian stamp that's got a picture of George Washington. It's about 4 feet square on it. Brunhilde Glittenkamp. And she says, honest, Shep, that's really my name. Brunhilde Glittenkamp. Listen, don't laugh. Here's one simply says, this is for my cat. No other comments. Mark Adams, greetings from beautiful New Jersey. Jeff Johnson from Floral Park. And it ain't easy, he says. George Riken, Andrew Davis, George Hughes, Richie Smith. And here is Peter Latham and Bob Vickery of Darien, Connecticut. And there's another one for this guy. This guy sends that one every day. Here's Robert Russell from Madison, New Jersey. He says, would you believe it? Madison has no Dairy Queen. We demand a Dairy Queen. Paul Buckley, Sue Dickman from Darien, Connecticut. We've got our recorder set up. Don't let us down. Oh, there it broke again. I'll get it strung up again. Get the recorder, get the tape in there. We repeat. Paul Buckley and Sue Dickman are out there in Darien, Connecticut. For all it's going to do them. Here's Jeff Hess and Jean Giorelli, Rose Emerson. And she writes it 7 different ways so I don't make a mistake. And here's Ed Halsey. He says, when's T.S. Mac coming out? Let's see. Toulouse Tarnucci. And here is Dave Martucci. Dave Martucci. He says, do I have fun with my name? Here's Rusty and Eddie from Lordsburg, New Mexico. And Don Huber. And Bill Totten. And Gail Eggerding. Albert P. Carboni. Albert P. Carboni. Sounds like he's going to be in it. Let's see, here's no, I will not mention one of your teachers, kid, unless he writes in himself. You're not going to get mentioned. Here's Kathy Bradley. And not to mention Ed Johnson. And here's Jane Houston. She says she will be listening. I will be listening. She's one of those precise type girls. She writes, Jane Houston will be listening Thursday for your announcement that she is listening. Talk about nuttiness. And Richard P., that's all. Joseph Shelton, Richard Passarakis, Ringo Shelton, and Bob Murphy. They're out there fighting the good fight. Simon Templar. Oh, come on. Don't give me that, kid. I'll hit you in the mouth. I can just say, you ready? No, wow. I bet he thinks Simon Templar listens to a while. I bet he thinks Walter Cronkite listens to that one. When we get all this. David Petruzzelli of Clifton, New Jersey. And Chuck Gava is there. And John K. MacDonald is out there. Not to mention Edwin Cowan of Milburn, New Jersey. And let's see, here's Richard Chazowski of Staten Island. He says, yes, I'm Polish. He says, and I know more Polish jokes than anybody you know. And here's, let's see, Ann Stavish of South Plainfield. Bob Steigert is listening. I'll bring that romantic note. Addie N. Pierce, better known as Ma Pierce, is listening. And that's a funny one, so we will read that. Ethel M. Flockhart of Tom's River. Oh, did I have a time in Tom's River one night? Amy Rader is listening. And Amelia Louise Rader is also listening out there. And my name is Ken Rosen, and my kid brother's name is Jimmy Rosen. And if he's allowed to stay up late that night, his name will be heard on the radio, right, Shepard? And here's Kenyon Gardner, who's out there. Peter Steinhaus. Savary Moore is listening. Savary Moore. That's his, Savary Moore of North Tarrytown, New York. Mary Lee Moore is out there, too. Danny Kaleda. Mike Todd of Long Branch is out there. And Michael Stefanik. He says, roll that one over your tongue, Dad. It bounces real good on the tongue, he says. Michael Stefanik. Doug Kaleda of Westbury, Long Island. And here is Bets Bauman. Just Bets Bauman. Goofy name. And Gary Schorer is out there. Not to mention poor old Alan Strickoff, who is WA2EYQ. He's there. I got a lot of QSL cards, by the way. And here is Bruce Brenner, the second. And he says, you better pronounce Bruce Brenner loud and clear. The second is important. My old man is a Fink. We're going to Fink. I'm sorry, I just ad-libbed that. He's not a Fink. He's more of a jerk. Now, let's see. What do we got here? Charlie from Forest Hills. John Tarpey is out there. And here's WA2BOU. He's hanging in there, too, as best he can. And here's Jack Mills, alias Wendell G. And he's already at the age of 9. He's under an alias. He's at Covent Station, New Jersey. And let's see, here's somebody from Caldwell. N.E. Dale, or Norman Dale, better known as. Paul Gregory. He's out there. John Scribilia. Oh, that's a great name. Here's Mark Van Horn, Cheltenham, PA. That's outside of Philly. I know that place. And this one is John, oh boy, Gary Zuski, Pavel Andruszewski, Vincent Slatarsky. They're all there. And if I don't pronounce them right, that's the way it is. That's the way it's going to be all through your life, kid. You might as well get used to it. Here's Arthur M. Hinkerty, Ira Chayot, J.D. Modrock III. He says, I'll go far. Right, good luck, kid. Jeff Buck. Mark Winter. And here's Bob Alderchi. He says, I want to make your name dropping show. Drop my name if you can. Here's Mike Walchick of Jamaica. And don't forget Gavin Gill. And Gloria Lolumia. And Bill Barkley. Stephen Miller. Oh, poor Steve. He's Jamaica. He sent in about 25 cards. He wants to get mentioned, that guy. He's really worried. The more cards they send in, the less chance you got to get mentioned. Here's John Jurak. He says, you klutz. All right, you klutz. Anybody who lives in Rawley's got no right to say that. Here's one from Manchester Court. Ann Sandals, Manchester, Connecticut. And he says, take a turn right at Hartford and you'll find us next to the Esso station. Alan Sandals. Kay and Roe Doty. David Beatty. Yes. Dan Zaruski. Patty Eberling. G. Terrence Rowan. You notice we're getting near the end? Yes, near the end. We've only got 12 minutes to go. Will your name be mentioned? Charlie in Flushing. He just made it. Walter Biondine. Lucy Brandini. I think it's Brandon. Yeah, that's it. Take a look at your handwriting, folks, and see if you could read it if you didn't know what your name is. Walter Brandon and Lucy Brandon. And George and Bruce Goodwin out there in the darkness. It says, we're sure in darkness. And they are here in Brooklyn. Let's see. Richard Letzi. He writes his name 4 times. And also, don't forget Robert Letzi and Lars Peterson and John Malone. And Paul Monahan. He sends me this beautiful picture of isn't that nice? A beautiful picture of the drugstore in Manasquan, New Jersey. It's a lovely drugstore. And here's Karen Lee Hinkamp of Brooklyn. Shirley, a minister's wife from Brooklyn. I cannot give you my last name. What's the matter? Huh? Chicken? Here's Robert J. Skillman, University of Arizona, Tucson, Arizona. How about that, man? And it comes from there. We're getting out. I hope he's hearing it tonight. I hope the skywave is good enough. And here is Ralph the Cat. Paul Nevitt Forever. He's being funny, see. Here's one, Richard M. Astorino. He says, please baptize me Thursday night. Richard M. Astorino. Robert Charles Olson, Jr. Stop all them wisecracks about Staten Island. Okay? Then Staten Island better straighten up. Here's Martin Carcage. And here's John Barbarosso. And here's one that came in, Ron Lynch, Artie Hager, Kurt Jacobs, Turkey O'Toole, Doug Kozik, Eugene Murphy, Tom Gajewski, and Fred Bethpage. Is this from Bethpage, New York? No, Hicksville, New York. And here's Charles Cadle, Carl Anderson, and the whole crowd out there. Joseph DiPello. Hey, this is a fantastic crowd. Jonathan Lax, spelled with an X. Paul Blake, and he lives in Garden City. Kathy Keeler, Janice Peters, Mitchell Edward Fishman. And I told you, kid, if you wrote 522 names down, forget it, they're done. Here's Debbie Choate, Bob Tina, last name pronounced like Tina. Bob Tina. Here's Diane Reese, Karen Batchick, Sue Glick, and the Underground at Terrell Junior High School in Scotch Plains. Everybody thinks he's in the Underground. Here's Russ Calabrese. And that's in Ford's, New Jersey. Sharon Geigel, Anita Miller, and the whole crowd in Elizabeth, New Jersey. They're out there in the darkness. Boy, that is dark over there. Here's Pete McKillop of Tappan, New Jersey. Is there such a town? Tappan? Yeah. Joe Pat Hickey. Gloria Good. And by the way, I'm going to tell you, this is the only time of the year I'm going to do this. This is the silliest show on radio. You don't worry, you hope so. I'm doing it. This is a true public service. I mean, I think this is every bit as important as an asparagus recipe on Al McCann show. It is. And every bit as important as whether the Bethpage schools are going to have a turkey, cranberry dinner, as reported by John Gambling. It's every bit as important. You know, the lady that paints the cats on velvet that you hear about on Ed and Pegeen. I think this is pretty good. Gloria, Walter Schoenig of Union, New Jersey. Walter J. Cunnings, Tappan, New York. And Kenneth L. Richards. All right. And here's Kitty Seidler and Steve Tarsky from Middle Earth, Flemington, New Jersey. And here's Roger Simonada, Jerram Swartz, Bob Siebrecht, Peter Silver, and Scott McGlashan. If you're being bored, that is because you forgot to send in your card, friends. That's all. And if your card was in, you would be hanging on tenterhooks now because there are just 8 minutes to go. You may be mentioned. Margie Barrowman. And I don't know where she lives. And here's Sandy Axelman of Hillside. And not to mention Anson Mungie. Says, where are you? Your friends miss you. What do you mean, Anson? Who misses that clot? You kidding? Here's Chuck Gave, Mike Harridan. How does that sound in there? Is it boring? Wild names. Here's Virginia Gaffney and her mother, her sister, her brother. They're all out there. All the Gaffneys. And poor Ed Gaffney, the father sends a separate card. That's kind of his family's all split up like that. Charles Thomas. That's just his name. That's all he says. And here's the gang from TZ High School in Orangeburg. Chuck, John, Pete, Dick, Roger, and B. Reed. The whole crew. Dick Russell. Dean Smith. And Nadia Powell or Dow or Wow or something. And let's see. Paul Tegmeyer. He says the second T is silent. So it's Paul Tegmeyer. Very silent T in there. He's got 6 T's in a row there. Glenn Slavomia. Mark Kirby. Ken Van Buren. Steve Sinclair. And it's skipping. Oh, there, he fixed it. Thank you, very good. Here's Gary Borkin. Says, pronounce it, please. Gary Borkin. He says, your new Playboy story is fantastic. It's great. I read this. I'm glad to see once in a while a listener can read. It's not easy, you know. Mr. Daniel Dinan, professor of geometry, writes. Of course, obviously one of the kids is written in there. Now they can all needle it. Charles Gold, he keeps getting his name mentioned all the time. He writes all these cards. All right, Charles, you just blew it. Dan Grace. And here is John David Vidarnani. He also says it was a groovy story. Let's see. David Wolf from Freehold. And Van Henderson, also from Freehold. George Garrick. He says, thanks loads, Shepard. We'll get down there now. Here we go. How about Wayne D. Jones? Wayne D. Jones from Danville, Virginia. Holy smokes. And, let's see. Steve Wilder. Accent on the Y. Carlos Savoca and Robert Tolman of the Bronx. Stay loose. Arthur O'Donnell of Bronx. My name is Thomas Maccabee. Smart guy. All right, here's one from Peter Delaney. Yeah, it is Peter Delaney of Staten Island. And he says, keep saying rotten stuff about Staten Island. He says, we all deserve it over here. Now, you see, here's the other side of it. Jim Yoakum is out there. Harry, Millie, Jeannie, Glenn, Greg, Joanne, and Lady and Harry Jr., the whole crowd. And that's the whole crowd at the Harry W. Kessel's place. And Dave Druss. And he mentions it 17 times. Dave Druss. And here is David Zielenziger. David Zielenziger. That's a nice name. He breaks it all down. David, and in so breaking it down, I can't pronounce it. Gigi Trotta. It's a fabulous name. She says, I saw you on the Steve Allen show, and I thought you were very handsome. You are very cute. Thank you, baby. And here is, my name is Chester. I'll bet you cannot pronounce this, he says. He says, if you have any knowledge of the occult, you may be able to try this one. Chester Grezuk. I did not live in northern Indiana for 4,000 years, kids, without learning something. Jan Garris. Okay, you asked for it. He says, see here, I'm going to open these up. Jeff Balanco. By the way, you are a great comedian, he says. Here's one, Ronnie Ostroff. Ronnie Ostroff of Linden, New Jersey. Big sign. This is Flick with us. Oh, yeah, that's true. Timothy Robert Torrell. Okay. Says, bless you for reading Charlie Chan's great wisdom. Oh, the bell is ringing. Holy smokes. Let's see, there's a couple of other names. Oh, there's a million other names. The Northern Highland Regional High School Monopoly team. They just marched past. One kid is holding up a sign that says, I own Ventnor Avenue. Gary Lubin. Yes, oh, Gary. Richard Dorfman. Hooray! Dorfman made it from Jersey in spite of being Arthur Horn made it. Holy smokes, look at him sliding in under the P. Beardsley. Judy Ammett. Celeste Keel. Pam Beardsley. They're sliding in under the wire. Look at this one. Here comes one. Pow. Forrest Wilbur Shue. Bang. Here's another one. Woo, woo-hoo. Frederick, oh, get out of here. You should have thrown a smart guy. All right, here's one. Oh. Pam Dunham. Charlie Beaver. John Hamster. Oh, boy, they're coming in now. Merrill J. Edelchick of Bayside High School. Here's Bob Swatkowski, repairman for the New York Telephone Company. Bob Swatkowski made it. Holy smokes, there he goes with his alligator clips. Bill Delaney of Staten Island. God bless you, Gene Shepard, for pronouncing my name, Arthur Christopher Ramirez. That's groovy. Here's Alan Crawford of the Civil Air Patrol. Mike Downing. Woo! And here's Marcy Weissman. Irving Goldfarb made it. Larry Ryder. Frank Babushka made it. Kevin Gallagher. He made it, too. Just made it. Ed Rowe made it. Brian McKern made it. Here's Jay Littman sliding in under the last wire. Paul Coon and Jimmy Pierce, Joe Green, Cynthia Garcia. Oh. Tom Carreras and
This is WOR 710 Radio New York, your station for news as it happens. Shop A&P. You'll save far more